Hi everyone! Today I want to share with you how to grow amaryllis over water. All you'll need for this project is an amaryllis bulb, a watertight vessel. I like to use a clear glass vessel, that way I can clearly see where the water line is at all times. Then you'll want some decorative stones. These are easily found at your local craft store or on Amazon. You could use pebbles, stones, marbles, seashells, just about anything will work. You'll need some water, and I also like to use activated charcoal, which will keep our water smelling sweet. So to start off with, I like to add just about a half a teaspoon of activated charcoal to the base of my vessel. And I'm using a candy dish that used to belong to my great aunt for today's project. So just a small amount of activated charcoal will do. And then I want to come in with my decorative stones, and I want to put in about a 3-inch layer. And since this amaryllis does have a decent amount of roots on it, I think that looks good. Next, I'll just place my amaryllis right on top of those stones, and then I'll fill in around with more stones, leaving the top third of the bulb exposed. So that looks great, and now we can go ahead and fill it with water. And what we want to do is fill it so that it just hits the roots and not the bulb. So I'm going to fill it up to just below the base of the bulb. Basically, we want the roots in water and the bulb out of water. So if this was the base of your bulb, you would want the water line to be right about here, almost touching but not touching the base of the bulb itself, because any bulb that sits in water will have the tendency to rot. Now that we have our bulb all planted, we want to place it in a nice bright, warm location that's about 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. You will probably need to top up the water about twice over the course of them growing and blooming. A southern hemisphere bulb will generally bloom in about 4 to 6 weeks from planting to bloom, and a bulb that comes over from the northern hemisphere is going to take a little bit longer to wake up and bloom, more like 6 to 10 weeks for a northern hemisphere bulb. So just top up the water, keeping the roots in water but the bulb out of water at all times. The only other thing that you might experience is a little bit of leaning of the stem as they grow, but that can easily be corrected by just giving the vessel a slight turn periodically if you do start to see them lean towards the sun. So I love to watch them just bloom and grow here right in the water. But once they're all done blooming and all the flowering stalks have faded, you can expect to see between 3 to 5 flowering stalks from most of these large amaryllis bulbs that are between 36 and 38 centimeters. Then they're really just going to start producing foliage, and that's when we get to decide, do we want to treat these gorgeous amaryllis as annuals? We can simply put the bulbs in the compost pile, or do we want to save the bulbs and rebloom them the following year? It's really up to you and what feels right for your particular circumstance. Now, I adore amaryllis. I'm a collector, so I like to save all my bulbs. So if you've been growing an amaryllis over water, once it's all done blooming, if you want to go ahead and save it, you need to go ahead and pot it up. And here's what that will look like. So here's a beautiful magical touch that I've had for about 2 years. I grew it over water this year, and then once it was all done blooming, I just transferred it to potting soil, once again leaving a third of the bulb exposed. Now, in order to get this bulb to rebloom again in subsequent years, I'm going to treat it as a houseplant for the remainder of winter and spring. I'm going to keep it watered inside, evenly moist, but never super wet or soggy, and I'm going to fertilize it once a month. Then, once all danger of frost has passed and it's about time for us to plant out our tomatoes and our dahlias, I'm going to put this pot right outside into the garden. You can either set the pot outside, you can plant the bulb into the garden if you like, once again leaving a third of the bulb above the soil level, and basically it's going to grow lots of wonderful leaves for us during that period of time. You're going to notice that the bulb will get bigger during that time as well. soil, and you just leave it out there for the remainder of summer. Then in late summer, early fall, bring it inside to a dark, cool place that's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to use our basement. Cease watering altogether for 2 to 3 months. Allow the foliage to all die back naturally. That period of time is called dormancy. And then when you're ready to rebloom them again, just simply bring them upstairs. You can either repot them or just refresh the top of the soil, give them a really nice deep watering, and then once again, bright, warm location, about 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and they'll bloom again for you the following year. So friends, I sure hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you've ever grown amaryllis over water, what your experience has been, and which way do you prefer? Do you like growing amaryllis over water, or do you prefer potting them up into pots and potting soil? I like both, but I think there really is something very elegant about growing them over water, and you can get so creative with the vessel. It just lends itself to the beauty of amaryllis. You can make them even more beautiful by placing them in maybe not just a beautiful vessel, but something nostalgic, like my Aunt Catherine's candy dish. Well, I want to wish you all a wonderful day, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye!